Hello, Virgo. Welcome to your February soul session. I am Princess India. If you are new and if you're family, whoa, welcome back, my friend, and whatnot, or whatever. And welcome to all of my new subbies. Welcome. I love your face. So we're going to go ahead and jump into you guys' cards for the month of February. Okay. We're first going to be looking at an overall energy and a challenge. Let me move my mouse. And then we're going to go into, whoa, okay. All right, then. I don't even know what to do with that. I'm just going to set these here, I guess. I don't know what to do with that. Because the way they fell out, I don't know where they would be in the spread, but we just gonna take them too. Okay. Anywho, might have to double clarify the future with that one. That is very interesting cards to come out. Okay. Anyway, so your overall energy for the month of February. Oh my gosh, you guys have so many major arcanas. First, we have the Hanged Man. I'm using the the Hoodoo Tarot. So these are different. This is Gullah Jack. Shout out to South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? The Gullah people. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we have the Hanged Man as you guys' overall energy. So the main premise is here, Virgo, for the month of February. You guys are at somewhat of a standstill. I wouldn't say an energetic block per se. Well, I don't want to say that you're blocked energetically, but it's almost like hitting a wall. It's temporary. The purpose for this let's just call it a liaison period. The purpose for this liaison period is more or less for you to get clear on the choices, the decisions, and the actions that have led you to where it is that you stand at present, whether for good or bad. So it's more or less looking at where it is in your life right now. If there's anything in your life that you're not necessarily a fan of, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of getting clear of what choices and decisions that one made that led us here, because I look at the Hangman as a card of personal accountability. It's, and I don't even know why I need to say this, but it's kind of the example that came up in my head just now. And not saying that this is specifically like what we're talking about in totality, but this is more or less one way to look at it. It's like, say if you got into like a really shit relationship, right? And the person is like all these terrible things, and the thought is like, oh my gosh, like I just got this terrible relationship, this person was so horrible to me, and it's like, I can't believe this person would like do this to me, or why stuff like this happens to me, whatever, right? But it's never taking personal accountability for the fact that you elected to date that person. You know what I'm saying? And that can be triggering for a lot of people, because a lot of people will say sometimes like, well, I didn't know that they were like that, and I didn't see any red flags. You know what I'm saying? So I chose to be with this person because I didn't know that they were like that, or they changed and they suddenly became this horrible person, right? So that still puts you in victim mode. You know what I'm saying? And it's still not taking, like, it's being able to sidestep personal accountability for one's choices. So what would behoove you, in the month of February, is this more or less being a month where I say whether for good or bad, because if you're in a really good place in your life, then that's you, taking personal accountability for the choices you made that led you to success. It's just being very clear of how it is that you got to where you are now, and being almost being like in a sober mindset that you are not where you are now by happenstance. You are where you are in your life right now by a series of choices and actions that led you to this particular space, right? Now, the challenge, I might as well just say block. Dagnabbit, son of a gun. Wait. Oh, okay. See, it is my stuff in the background. We have the World in the reverse. In this deck, it's the Garden. I think it's the stuff in the background that makes it so hard for these cards to be clear. But anywho, so with the World in the reverse, this is much like I said for Taurus, they had the Wheel of Fortune. Whenever I see the World of the Wheel of Fortune, it's the 4 fixed signs. So it's Taurus, energy, Scorpio, Aquarius as well as Leo. So I'm going to say for you guys, just like I said, for Taurus as well. If you're not familiar with how I do my soul sessions, I always do the first sign is always going to be the sign of the season that we're in. Currently, we're in Aquarius season. And with Aquarius being one of these signs, I always tell everyone to watch the sign for the season that we're in, because since we're in that energy, a lot of what you see in that soul session, you can look at it almost like a collective reading, because all of that is influencing, what it is that you're going through. So everyone in the collective, all 11 other signs, are going to be experiencing very similar to what Aquarius experiences during this time frame in February. So check that out for sure. But for you guys specifically, with this world in reverse, your challenge to overcome this month is going to be your unfinished business, right? So there's loose ends that need to be tied up. And I feel that this is very much related to this personal accountability that we're seeing in this Hanged Man, because I feel that there's things you guys have endured and things that you have been through, and you only really understand 50% of the lesson. So I can understand why my guides brought that up, of the whole thing of like that example with the relationship thing. It's like if one were to move forward in life and say, oh my gosh, I was just like a victim of this situation. Like this person just switched up on me. There were no signs, there were no red flags. I just so happened into this situation. It's like that could grow into a monster of its own, because it could be now I can't trust people at all, because if a person could switch like that and there be no red flags, which is probably not the case. It's like every single person I meet, they could just switch up. I could be married to someone for 30 years and they could be the same person every day, and suddenly, you know what I'm saying, the first day of year 31 they suddenly become an entirely different person. You know what I'm saying? So it could go that route, or what more specifically is important is not learning the lesson and only knowing half of it. It's like, oh, there's, manipulative, scamming people in this world. You know what I'm saying? And that just be happening sometimes, right? But not learning the other side of the lesson, which is, date one, date two, there were certain, red flags that were popping up, or I wasn't really clear on what I was looking for. You know what I'm saying? And I just kind of happened upon this situation with this person, or I didn't make, my boundaries or my needs or, expectations or whatever clear in the beginning. I just kind of went with it. If we don't gather that other side, it's like we have half of a lesson. So that's more or less saying to me, Virgo, in the month of February, you guys are closing a cycle to learn. So why this block is here, like why you cannot pass go and collect $200, is because there's a need for you guys to tie up loose ends with a very valuable lesson that you guys have learned up until this point. In this lesson in particular, I don't necessarily feel this is something new. Like this doesn't feel to me like something that just transpired in January or anything. This feels to me like probably a pattern that's been showing up for some time now. If it is related to the latter part of 2023 or January, it would probably be the rounding out or the climax of something. But yet and still, there would be similarities between this particular situation and things that you've endured prior to this point. Now, the two other cards that popped out for you guys that I'm not including in the spread. Wait, hold on. Is that gonna, no, is that okay? It's sort of kind of working a little bit. We have the Strength in the reverse, and then we have the High Priestess, and that's Miss Ida, and it's literally Strength in this deck. But what this is saying to me too, and this is interesting because the Strength card, of course, is our tarot card for the year because we're in an 8-year. But what the Strength in the reverse is saying to me is it's you guys being in a disempowered state. You know what I'm saying? It's like you are not taming the beast is taming you. So, and I feel like that's the whole point of this. You know what I'm saying? It's almost my Virgos being in like a reactionary, trigger happy kind of state. You know what I'm saying? It's almost being like paper thin skinned in a sense. And that's probably why that energy came up to me of like, how can you say that there are red flags? There weren't red flags. And what that's really showing up as is like, and gosh, I love how these readings are always mirroring conversations I have with people every day. Something I've been talking to a lot of my clients about this week, and even my staff, is about like triggers. And something anyone who knows me, I think any one of my clients would tell y'all this, is I always say that triggers have nothing to do with anyone else and everything to do with you. Right? It's like it's your consciousness, yourself, your higher self, however you want to look at it. It's yourself's mind, whatever way of telling you that there's unhealed wounds here. Like there's still more to the story. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always mindful, like whenever, a person is triggered or like super thin skin like that, I find it intriguing because I'm like, that's so interesting. You're wounded in that area. Like, let's talk more about that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that this month is giving you guys an opportunity to address that, because I feel like that 50% that I was saying, Virgo, I feel you guys are very clear on what other people did to you externally. You know what I'm saying? Or, how jobs are set up, whatever the issue is. You're very clear on that externally. But I feel the internal part, the other 50%, like the role that you had in this, you're not aware of, and you not being aware of that. You know what I'm saying? Or, you being triggered and avoiding people, because that's something I see people do a lot. If it's content that triggers people, it's like, ugh, I'm not watching that. If there's people that trigger you, it's like, ugh, I'm staying away from that. But we don't realize that if that trigger is about us and telling us about something that needs to be healed in us, if we were to shut off from every single thing that triggers us, right, then we're no longer triggered and we don't ever have to deal with the thing. You feel what I'm saying? So with this being paired with this high priestess, like what this is kind of saying to me, like especially with these cards flying out aside from the spread, it's like the role that I would be playing, like saying this reading to you, and I said similar to Taurus as well, this would be confirmation for you. So if you were trying to not pay attention to this or kind of sidestep it, or if this is stuff that's been kind of coming up for you and you've been kind of pondering on things lately, like this reading would act as confirmation for you of like, hey, yeah, so this is what's actually going on here. If you found yourself being triggered a lot lately and being like, what the F is up with this? Like, why am I just clicking out and flashing out on people? It's like, this is acting as confirmation for you in so many words of saying like, yeah, this is the thing that we need to look at in so many words. And I feel if you really push into that, or as I always suggest, if it's something really deep and serious, holler at a friendly local neighborhood therapist. We partner with BetterHelp. The link is in the description box below. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that's really deep, then, work it out with a professional, because, we cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. You know what I'm saying? But the whole goal is to get you guys into alignment. And by the way, if this is relevant, with the Hangman, I always say Pisces, Cancer, and Aquarius, because one day I forgot what sign it was. So I just say all of them now. I already said with the World card, and with Strength, of course, we know that's Leo energy. And with the High Priestess, for me, that's Pisces. Some people, that is Cancerian energy. Feels more Piscean, more 12th house to me. But anywho, so in the event that that's relevant for you, but I feel that's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? I see this as more or less like your higher self crying out to you, because like now is your season and now is your time. Like 2024 is your year for you to align with your highest self. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Pisces is you guys' opposite sign. You know what I'm saying? So that's even more important. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, moving right along. So you guys, central energy that is representing you all this month. Yeah, I can see that. We have the Six of Swords in the reverse. So it is a stagnation, a not moving forward. There's a need to shift the mindset in order to move forward. So all of your energy still is oriented towards the past, but that's for good reason. Because, like we said, with the world reverse, it's unfinished business that needs to be tied up. Now, your past influence, we have the Five of Baskets, which is the Five of Cups in the reverse. That is my grief and loss card here. But I feel like this is kind of past its expiration date. You guys have kind of been in this energy for a little too long. You know what I'm saying? Because this is kind of saying to me, it's ruminating over past things that have happened. This is very similar to Libra. So I don't know if some of you guys, like if you have Libra in your chart or if you guys are on the cusp, you might want to check out Libra. Because what I'm seeing with this Five of Cups in the reverse, yeah, it's something disappointing that happened. And for Libra, it actually came out, it was like single Libras. It actually came out as a disappointment in a romantical type of thing. But I can see similar for you guys, whether it's like a loss, if you guys actually lost someone, and I'm sorry for your loss if you have, most certainly, or if this is like a breakup type of thing, or I mean, job loss, whatever. I'm seeing with this, there's it's kind of being stuck. It's like what do they call it? It's new in the DSM-5. Prolonged bereavement, right? Because there's actually a time frame to where it's perfectly normal for grief to kind of take us out to where it's like we're no good. But then there's a certain point in time, like typically, after like a year's time, when a person is still kind of stuck in that and not able to, move forward, that's when it gets into like dangerous territory, because it starts to, turn into like depression and things of the sort. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm seeing with this, regardless of what caused it, it's more or less you guys are coming into February with this energy of, like a loss or a disappointment in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And it's orienting your energy to the past a great deal. Some of you guys might actually want to watch Pisces too, with that being your opposite sign. Because like I said, for those of you who don't know, with these being personal development readings, I mean, I wrote a whole book on how to watch my readings. That lets you know how serious this stuff is. But a lot of my subbies, they watch their opposite sign because it gives you like the shadow aspects of yourself. So it's stuff that you could be doing, which I feel, because I even told Taurus, I do like recaps of the soul sessions and give you like personal reflection questions and stuff like that. I'm gonna put them on my website, and they're already on the network for my network members. But I was telling Taurus, because the content of what it is they had to deal with this month was so heavy. I was like, this is something where you're going to have to work on this outside of just like watching this. But I feel kind of the same thing for you guys too. But I feel another perspective that you could get is from watching, Pisces, with that being your opposite sign, because it kind of tells you your blind spots when you're watching your opposite sign. But anywho, your above energy, whoa, is the Chariot. That's red railroad bill in this deck. Your hidden influence, is the Six of Cups in the reverse. Dude, I'm telling you, everything with this is screaming past tense. And with the Chariot in your above energy, which is Cancerian energy, it's screaming for you to move forward. Like this is a divine ordinance with the Chariot of saying you need to move forward. You need to move forward and you need to get in alignment. Like that's the main message of this. And what's interesting is how I said the Strength card, it's really the Strength slash the Justice card that are the card for this year, because my tarot enthusiasts, y'all know that Rider-Waite switched Justice and the Strength card. Like the Strength used to be 11 and Justice used to be 8. So both of those energies are relevant this year, which makes this year kind of like a portal year a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But anywho, this year is all about alignment, you know what I'm saying? But the the card for last year was the Chariot, and it was all about getting on one accord, like your heart and your mind getting on one accord, and your mind acting as a tool or a resource to your heart space, right? Like the true leader, the seat of your soul, in so many words. And I'm seeing that as well in this high priestess. So you being connected to the divine in alignment with your authentic self, and your mind being, a servant to the heart to execute the plan. So the divine decree for my Virgos in the month of February is to move forward. And it's like literally like that's why I think it's so funny with me using this deck and this coming out. It's literally like a train. It's like the horn from the train is blaring, and it's like, Virgo, we got to go. You need to handle this. You know what I'm saying? Because with your hidden influence being the six of cups in the reverse, all of this stuff is screaming past tense. Like this is something that happened. And for some of you, this very well could be something that happened in 2023. You know what I'm saying? But it's something that you only understand 50% of the lesson. There's a whole gaping other 50% that you're not understanding, you're not confronting, and that triggers you. You know what I'm saying? But this month is the month for you guys to come to terms with that, because you're not going to be able to, pass go and collect $200 until you do. And the thing with this is it's going to empower you, right? Because once you learn the other half of this lesson, this is like an epic cycle for you guys that's closing out big time. It's like no more semicolons. This is literally like period at the end of the sentence. And let me turn over this card before I keep talking, child, because I'm about to say, it's like what I feel in my spirit is once you pass this point, Virgo, like I literally feel that you guys' life would quite possibly look like it's almost like waking up in a life that's unfamiliar to you in a good way. You know what I'm saying? It's like what was always meant for you, like when you incarnated to this realm, it's like, when you did a double backflip into this body, right? It's like the life that you came here to live that has been seemingly like evasive or elusive for you up to this point. It's like you having the opportunity to step into that. You know what I'm saying? And the only, price of admission to this life is learning the other half of this lesson, if that's making sense. Now, what you guys want to watch out for moving forward? Yeah, child. We have the Ace of Wands. Oh, wait, no. That's the Ace of Knives. My bad. We have, child, that's funny. We have the Ace of Swords in the reverse. So here's the thing, dude. What you guys want to watch out for is turning a blind eye to this. So here's the thing. I wouldn't go as far as saying that you guys are being asked to do shadow work or to have like a dark night of the soul, right? I wouldn't say that it's that deep. It's like willful blindness. That's really what it is. It's a refusal to see. And I think my assumption would be my hunch, if you will, of this example that I was given of the whole relationship thing. I feel the reason why that example is given is because I think that's an easy thing to relate to, because when I tried to kind of intuit into that, it gets kind of mucky. You know what I'm saying? Which for me is like, it's so many, like it's a myriad, this energy signature that I'm sharing with you all. It could manifest in so many different ways that it's pointless. I'd be here all day if I try to get into each one. But it's like the romantical situation, and not saying that's everyone's situation, that would be like the clearest thing and the most relatable to everyone. You know what I'm saying? Because those of you who don't know, my two specializations in therapy are narcissistic abuse and trauma, right? So this is, a world I'm very familiar with recovery from, relationships and things of the sort. So it's very sticky territory for, you know what I'm saying? Because it's, if I were to talk about my Likert scale, It's one or two sides that most people end up in when they've been in shit relationships. It's like if a person makes it out of like a narc abusive relationship, sometimes it's like an armor, and you've been with someone who's been beating you down and telling you who you are and your reality, that there is a fear of letting anybody speak into your life, and you're like fighting, like, do not tell me, like, why would I choose to be in a relationship with someone like this, right? So there's like that side of the Likert scale, and then there's the other side of the Likert scale where one blames themselves and takes full ownership in an unhealthy way, where it's like, I bought this on myself. I really can't be angry. Like, yeah, they did this, and this, but I chose that person. Like, this is all me. Like, both of those are two extremes that are not healthy. And whenever you're on two extreme sides of the Likert scale, you're two sides of one coin. So what that says to me, it's like these are two people that are, hurt. It's just manifesting in different ways. One self-deprecation, one anger, right? The key is to get to the middle of the Likert scale, like our 0 point, the middle of the road. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that's where it is that you guys are being called to. But in the context of, the whole 50-50 thing that I was saying, it's like, hypothetically, yeah, the person is an asshole. Yes, the person is a dick. But it's like in any situation or circumstance, there's always red flags. There can be the opportunity of you not knowing what to look for. There could be the opportunity of you never having an example or never knowing what a healthy relationship looks like. So thus not having anything to compare it to. There could be, and I'm saying all of this hypothetically, right? It could be the context of, something that I see very prevalent in women today, which is so fascinating, is when a woman is asked, what do you look for in a guy? Right? And they name all superficial stuff. Like, he has to be this height, he has to make this much money, he has to have this or that, but it's never like character traits that are named. You know what I'm saying? And that's like a personal quest that I'm on right now. One of my little side projects is like me using myself as a test subject to be able to help like a lot of my clients in reference to that. Because I literally created like a whole assessment of the things that I feel like every man or woman should know about themselves. And then for you to look at what characteristic traits based on past experience, and then just based on, who you are as a person, what traits are complementary to that and what traits are like the antithesis to that. You know what I'm saying? Just to get kind of like a clearer picture with partner selection and things of the sort. But anywho, but I say all of that to say that it could be a myriad of different things as to why, you didn't see the red flags or not recognize them. And I'm still speaking hypothetically, because like I said, this can apply to a myriad of different situations, but it's the fact that they were there. And if we don't step back to the day that we met this person and are honest with ourselves of what attracted me to them, how did I get into this situation? How many dates did I go on? Like, did they tell me they loved me on the first date? Was I love bombed, right? It's like, did we move too quickly? Like, if we don't go back and assess our situation, and like I said to Taurus, and I'm gonna say to you guys too, Virgo, if the situation that you're in, and this is only something that you're going to be able to assess for yourself, if the situation that you're in is so deep, you know what I'm saying, to where like it's a very serious situation, then this is stuff that you would want to work out with the therapist. Like, I think self-help personal development work is great. It's grand. I think using tarot as a personal development tool is a thing. I've made my entire life about it, right? But there comes a certain point where, like I always say, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. That's how we'll keep going in circles. It's always good to have an alternative opinion. You know what I'm saying? So depending on what your situation is, or if this is something you've been trying to work on and you just can't seem to get out of this cycle, that's when it's time to speak to a professional and reach out to a friendly local neighborhood therapist. It does not have to be me, because I have a waiting list right now for clients that I am trying to work through. But I partner with BetterHelp. The link is in the description box. You could go on Psychology Today, child, find you somebody in your city. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a plethora of therapists that are accessible to everyone. You know what I'm saying? You can go to your local behavioral health clinic. You know what I'm saying? They got sliding scales. You can get you some therapy for free, child. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so it's accessible to you. But literally, all these blocks that I'm seeing, this Ace of Swords in the reverse, dark side of the sword, shadow aspect, pointing to the past, Six of Swords in the reverse, oriented to the past. There's something back there that you guys forgot, even with this Five of Cups in the reverse, past. Six of Cups in the reverse, past. You feel what I'm saying? There's something you guys left back there that you need to retrieve, you know? And I can see this as a theme with earth signs because this is similar in one line of an energy signature with Taurus, because with them it's, and I don't know why my guides are saying this, I'm just gonna say it, they said soul retrieval. Let's go with it, right? But I ain't gonna say all that. That's what they said. But what I'm saying is there's something with earth signs I'm seeing so far, because I haven't done Capricorn yet. So I'll see when I get to them. But so far with you and Taurus, it's something about like retrieving something from the past. You know what I'm saying? A facet of yourself or whatever. But with you guys in particular, it is the other half of a lesson. So there's unfinished business with something that you guys experience past tense, that I feel like you've kind of been placating yourself up to this point to kind of coast by in a sense, which I understand because it's a survival skill. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, um, you know, especially like if this is like a narcissistic abuse relationship type of thing, it's like in the therapeutic process, like this isn't anything that's even like discussed in beginning stages of this at all. It's like you have to be at a certain point of your healing. We have to overcome the self betrayal. We have to start to rebuild, you know, your trust in yourself, your personal resolve, your personal foundation before things like this are even discussed. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying, depending on where you guys are at, it's like this is a therapy type of thing if it's that deep. You know what I'm saying? But if this is like a relationship from 10 years ago, you know what I'm saying? If like you're at a point now to where it's like you could put your big girl or big boy panties on and look at this situation for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because until you learn the other half of this via taking personal accountability, you're always going to be at a disadvantage with the strength in the reverse. You're always going to be a victim to the situation as opposed to a victor of the situation. You feel what I'm saying? This will continue to be something that happened to you as opposed to it being something that happened for you, if that's making sense, you know? And I feel that's what the whole point of this is. And that's why I feel moving forward, like once you guys come out of this and you tie up these loose ends and wrap up this cycle, I feel like you guys are, that's why I said it's going to feel almost like you're waking up in a life that's like brand new to you in a sense, because it's almost like the scales will be removed from your eyes, hashtag Leviathan. Because it's not scales, it's like scales, like reptile. Anyway, moving right along. But it's like the scales will be removed from your eyes, and it's almost going to be as if you're seeing your world for the very first time. And for this to come up, Virgo, I feel this is something on a deep level. It's something that you guys are desiring, but it's the only thing that's standing between you and that is thyself. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, my beautiful Virgos, that has been your soul session for the month of February. Most certainly, let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, I love you guys freaking face. This is the, if you're watching this live, this is the last stream of today. You know what I'm saying? But I love your freaking face, and you guys will see me again tomorrow with the next 3 signs. So